Hi, hello, how are you? And this is what the redhead said. If you're new here, my name is Helen. I am a Waterstones bookseller and a bookstagrammer at Redhead Red. And I started this channel to create hopefully weekly videos as an expansion, as a little conservatory to my bookstagram. Because there's only so many words and thoughts and feelings and, oh my god, let me tell you all about this book, that you can fit into a caption. So I hope that you also have your teas at the ready. This might be a long one. Here are some of my top anticipated reads of 2022. Said it might be a long one, I wasn't kidding. So as you can see, I've got a lot to get through. There's no particular order, so I'm just gonna go through some of the top sort of big marketing press releases and some of my personal favourites that I'm looking forward to. I'm going to start with a cheat, and that is The Twyford Code by Janice Hallett. I say cheat because I finished it about a day or so ago. It is so good. I've done a review on this on my Instagram. I might do a whole video on it though, because it is like the most clever and like well crafted book that I've read in a long time. I think she is an absolute master of her craft. Yeah, Twyford Code, Janice Hallett. Next up we have Wahala by Nikki May. This was published on the 6th of January, and as I filmed today, I think it's the 15th, so, you know, not too long ago. This is described as being Sex and the City with a killer edge for fans of Queenie, Expectation and My Sister the Serial Killer. Yes, please. The press release for this was all about describing it as a sort of black Sex and the City, but with like a murder mystery kind of in the background. So I am very much looking forward to this. Wahala. Next, we have Impossible by Sarah Lotz. This, like most of my copies, is a pre-release proof copy, so the cover is different to what the actual cover will look like. So this says, this isn't a love story, this is fucking impossible. And that alone sold it to me, I will be honest. They're from two different worlds, they can never be together. Lots of great stories start this way, nothing ends like impossible. And also, it's a nice chunker. Just on a quick Google, and this is published on the 17th of March. The publishing date is on the front of this one. Again, another proof copy. This is published the 3rd of March. And it is Four Aunties and a Wedding by Jessie Sutanto. I love Dial A for Aunties. I read it last year, absolutely cackling, laughing, super, super funny. And this is the follow-up. This is what the actual front cover will look like. After Meddy Chan got away with literal murder, she was hoping for a quieter life. But when her aunties inevitably get involved in her wedding day, she knows it's going to be a day to remember. Super, super hyped for this. Can't wait. Next. I did say that there is no specific order, because we're going from a couple of rom-coms to The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. Welcome to number 12, Rue Drummels, where nothing goes unseen, everyone hides dark secrets. A watchful concierge, a scorned lover, a naive student, a prying journalist, an unwanted guest. Something terrible happened here last night. Can you unlock the mystery? I hope I can. I loved the guest list. That's what it's called. I was looking for it, but then hang on. I'll show you. Shall I show you my shame? This is what happens when you don't have the money for a new bookcase. As a Waterstones bookseller, I like to take some kind of ownership in Lucy Foley's success, which is something that I have no business doing, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I had never heard of her really until The Hunting Party was Book of the Month, and I'll be honest, I didn't read it, but I did read The Guest List, which was another Book of the Month, and I kind of read it in not quite a single sitting, maybe like 2. And I finished it, and I went to my sister's room, and I threw it at her, and I was like, you need to read this book. I'm very excited to see what she has next for me. And I say for me because I'm selfish, and I'm going to move on to the next one, have some more tea. Good Intentions by Kasim Ali, and this is published 3rd of March. Noor and Yasmina are in love. They've been together for 4 happy years, but Noor's parents doesn't know that Yasmina exists. As Noor's family count down to midnight on New Year's Eve, Noor is watching the clock more closely than most. He has made a pact with himself and his girlfriend Yasmina that at midnight he will finally tell his Pakistani parents the truth. He has spent years hiding their personal life from them to preserve his image of the golden child. That he has built a life with a woman he loves, and she is black. Noor wants to be the good son his parents ask him to be, and the good boyfriend Yasmina needs him to be. But as everything he holds dear is challenged, he is forced to ask, is love really a good choice for a second-generation immigrant son like him? I feel like this is going to break my heart, and I am very much looking forward to it. Next, we've now got a chonker, which is the embroidered book. Again, another proof copy, so my cover looks different to what the eventual one will look like. But it says, power is not something you are given, power is something you take. When you are a woman, you must find a way to summon it. This is published on the 17th of February, and if you watched my first video, which was sort of a rundown of my favourites, why can I not speak? Then you will know I love me some historical fiction, and this is right up my strata. Oh, it's a chonk. Something I also really appreciate, especially in, I'm going to say it again, a chonker, is that the book comes with a dramatis personae, and it's got a list of all the characters, who they're related to, where they're from, and something like that, or a map, I always find really useful. A sweeping historical epic with a thread of magic, perfect for readers of the familiarist, the binding, and the miniaturist. Yes, please. Next. This is The Aerialists by Katie Munnick. It is published on the 14th of April, and I actually only just received this yesterday, and already I'm putting it on my list of most anticipated, because it's gorgeous. There will always be another girl, won't there? As long as there are crowds and balloons, there will be a girl rescuing everything, and men who ask them to, one way or another. A rich historical novel based on the true story of a 14-year-old girl who fell out of the sky and captured the imagination of a city. I've got quite a few books that are like circusy related. This is already reminding me a little bit of, where is it? Aha! A Girl Made of Air. It's got a similar kind of vibe to it, except this is about a tightrope walker and this is hot air balloons, but all the same kind of power dynamics, historical fiction. I'm all about it. Next. Another historical fiction. Who would have guessed it? This is Theatre of Marvels by Leanne Dilsworth. Ah, pretty, pretty, pretty. Published at some point, one would think. 14th of April. Featuring a defiant heroine for our times, Theatre of Marvels shines a light on the experience of being black and British in Victorian London through one woman's journey to live a life on her own terms. Behind the spectacle, there are always secrets. Ugh. If I hadn't followed the sort of book avenue for my career, I like to think I would have gone down the theatrical route. I go to theatre as much as humanly possible, / as much as I can humanly afford. And so a historical fiction, which I love, in a theatre, which I also love. Just, did someone ask for more historical fiction? No, no one did, apart from me. This is A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting by Sophie Irwin. And because it's set in the debutante season, very kind of Bridgerton-esque, instead of published whatever date, on my copy it says debuting. This is going to be a big deal. If you are following sort of bookish circles, bookish influencers, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, you are going to see a lot of this book, and that's because it is one of the big releases from HarperCollins in the first half of this year. Very much riding the wave of Bridgerton. A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting. Step 1, leave for London immediately. Step 2, establish yourself in high society. Step 3, find a rich husband and save your sisters from ruin. The season begins 12th of May 2022. This is going to be a big deal. Get into it. Next, a lot of these books are from HarperCollins actually, and that's because their publicity team are angels. And so, thank you. Another one from Harper, having said that, is The Measure by Nikki Erlich. This comes out in July. Fate arrives in a box on your doorstep. Do you open it? Ooh. You have opened 2022's most life-altering debut novel. It seems like just another morning. You make a cup of tea, check the news, open the front door. On your doorstep is a box. Inside the box is the exact number of the years you have left to live. The same box appears on every doorstep across the world. Do you open yours? The Measure is the decision of a lifetime, coming the 7th of July. I think it's such an interesting concept. It's something that I've seen years ago talked about on Tumblr, like, oh, do you remember Tumblr? What if you had like a tattoo that counted down how long you had left to live? Well, this is not a tattoo, it's a box. I'm so into it. It's such an interesting moral concept. I've not seen anything like this before. Let's go. Taking a break from HarperCollins and going into Serpent's Tail. This is their super lead for 2022. And it is out on the 3rd of March. It is Booth by Karen Joy Fowler. This is the story of John Wilkes Booth, who ultimately shot Abraham Lincoln. So, from the Booker Prize shortlisted million-copy best-selling author of We're All Completely Beside Ourselves comes an epic novel about the infamous, ill-fated Booth family. Charmers, liars, drinkers and dreamers, they will change history forever. As I say, this is going to be a big deal. More historical fiction. Who'd you think? Booth. 2 more and then I'm done, I promise. I don't have my copy of this book yet, so it's the sequel to Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston, which is called Amari and the Great Game. This is one of my favourite books that I read in 2021. Amari and the Night Brothers tell the story of a girl called Amari Peters who gets this mysterious invite to the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs, which is kind of like spy camp. So all supernatural things are true, and she joins this bureau to try and discover what happened to her brother, who she discovers was this huge deal, like a supernatural kind of bounty hunter. And he went missing years ago, and she wants to find out where he's gone. And it is so good. I urge you, if you do not normally read children's books because you think, oh, it's a child's book, Amari is the book for you. It is the book for everyone. Everyone needs to read it. When I was reading it, often forgot it was a children's book and kind of thought it was more like a YA. The only difference, and I've said this to so many customers, this was a book of the month last year. And the only difference between this and a traditional sort of YA teen book is that there's no romance in it. I kept forgetting Amari was 12. I thought she was like 15. And as I say, even if you're kind of not into reading children's books or sort of middle grade or like YA, usually this is the book for you. Having sold, hopefully, Amari to you, my anticipated read is the second one. And finally, we have The Maid by Nita Prose. I am your maid. I know so much about you, your secrets, your dirty laundry. What do you know about me? This is another one from Harper. Again, thank you to their team. They are angels. And super excitingly, Florence Pugh, the angel that is going to be in the screen adaptation. So The Maid is about a maid who listens in and hears something about a murder. And we go from there. So having gone through all my anticipated reads, what is the Redhead reading right now? I am currently reading The Hatmakers by Tamsin Merchant. This is the current children's book of the month for January for Waterstones. I started it last year, then put it down because I had a mountain of other things to read at the time. and now I'm sort of obviously having to sell it. I've picked it up again. It is a lot of fun. It's very, very sweet. It's very Cordelia and Prospero are hat makers. Their surname is Hatmaker. They make magical, beautiful hats. Father has gone missing, or lost at sea, is the official phrasing that Cordelia is given. And Cordelia, quite rightly, I think, says he's not dead, he's missing. If he's missing, he can be found. So this is her journey to find her father. So that is it. That is my list of most anticipated reads for the first half of 2022. If you have enjoyed this in any way, give me a like. If you super enjoyed it, then subscribe. If you want to join the conversation, then let's chat below. Let's chat books. It's all I do every day. I might as well do it in my spare time too. Bye.